Howdy, my name is Scooter Ward. I'm a RYLA camper from 1994. I attended Camp RYLA in District 5810, and I'm excited to be presenting to you all for Interact today. I understand the nature of Interact and high school leadership and how it connects to the community, but also how it connects into college leadership and really forming what young leaders are for the next generation. I went to Richardson High School, graduated in 1995, and have been involved in RYLA ever since I was a participant in 1994. And what it really taught me is what it means to be a leader. And what I've learned is that leading is not about people doing what you say, but it's really about people modeling what you have done. Words mean things, but actions mean more. And that's why when someone tells us they're going to do something for us and they don't, we feel bad. Whereas when they live up to what they've said, we feel like they've done exactly what we expected them to do. And that's what we look at when we talk about leaders and we think about leaders. And as young leaders, I want you to focus on your words matching your actions and doing exactly what you say you're going to do. And knowing that as a leader, you're not always right. And sometimes folks will come to you and say, you know, I really don't agree with what you said, but I'm going to follow you because you have the passion, you have the interest, and you have the understanding that I believe in. But more than that, being a leader means being present. And what it means to be present is being there for them, but also understanding that you need to be there for yourself. And when you're there for yourself, you can show up for others. So many times as leaders, people expect us to give all of what we have and don't understand that if our cup isn't full, if we haven't filled ourselves up and understand what we need to provide, then we can't do anything for them. So understand that as a leader, you first need to be present and be there for yourself. Also understand that leadership requires all of you, not part of you. You must give your whole self in the service of leadership to others. You have to show that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love, where you live, any of those things, that every single part of you is integral to being a good leader. Nobody thinks because you make straight A's or you're in all these different clubs or your resume looks great, that makes you a good leader. What makes you a good leader is what you do and how you build on the foundation of who you are and show others that you are a person of your word, you are a person of your action, and that you are dependable. And more than anything in this, understand that sometimes as a leader, you sit on an island. And it's something I call the island of leadership. And it's a lonely place because at times you're standing out there alone in order to do what is right and what you believe in and what you believe is the best for the organization, your family, the community, the school, or whatever you may be participating in. One thing I want to make sure you all know, leadership isn't about being right. Leadership is about getting it right. And I say all the time, and I say to my family, my son, my spouse, and everything, I'm not here to be right. I'm here to get it right. And sometimes getting it right means talking to 5 or 6 people and completely changing my mind on what we thought was the solution before. You see, I run a business. I run a business that in the past 5 years has grown 20 times what I ever thought it would be and is about to be bought by a very large consulting firm. And so as I step into the next part of my life, I think about what the next version of leadership looks for me. And you talk about being on an island. When you have to start over and think about what really impacts the community, what really makes you move, what really fills up your cup, those are the things that you really need to focus on while you're in Interact. Is not just how do I execute this service project flawlessly, but how do I execute this service project in a way that makes a difference for the community and the people it is serving? Because if you're doing it just to check a box, people will know. If you're doing it just to make yourself feel better, people will know. If you're doing it just to get adulation and applause, people will know. So do it because your heart is in it. Do it because you believe in it, and do it because you know you can make a difference. We are born with a compass. Some people call it our conscience, other people call it the inner voice. I call it my internal compass. And there are people who throughout our lives and circumstances throughout our lives that will calibrate that compass and point us in the right direction over and over and over again. And we may want to push in a different direction, but sometimes that voice comes in as a whisper and says, you need to do this. And when we don't listen to the whisper, it becomes a yell, and we hear it and we see it, and it manifests in many different ways. So as a leader, make sure you listen to your compass, make sure you listen to that voice, and make sure that you heed the words and actions of those around you that you think are good leaders, that you see are good leaders, and who have manifest as good leaders. Lastly, I want you to understand that you have to be you. And this is something I say all the time. The you that you are is better than the you anybody wants you to be. As we spend more and more time wearing masks over our faces for personal protection, I ask that you take off the mask that you have on your face that you show to everyone every day. Be vulnerable enough as a leader to let people see the real you. Be ready to stand up and say, this is who I am. Be fervent enough to explain your positions, and be understanding enough to appreciate those who disagree with you. That's what defines a leader. That's what makes things happen. And so as you continue on your Interact journey, I say thank you for your service. I say bless you for your service. And I say Godspeed, God willing, thank you, and gig 'em.